everybody, and welcome into the Mountaineer Postgame Show. I'm Schuyler, Callihan. That is former West Virginia running back Eugene Napoleon. Penn State, top 10 Penn State, comes into Morgantown and has their way with the Mountaineers. The final score 34-12. And just want to look at the numbers. West Virginia, 4 of 14 on third down. They were outgained 457 to 246, 222 to 85 on the ground. As far as individual stats go, Garrett Green, not really impressive today. 15 of 28, 161 yards, didn't really push the ball down the field. But really, the storyline was the rushing game. 37 carries for the Mountaineers, only 85 yards. That's 2.3 yards per carry, while the Nittany Lions ran for 222 yards and a touchdown. Gene, this officially snaps the longest streak in the nation of 140 yards or plus in a game on the ground. What West Virginia had was 16. Didn't come anywhere close to that today. And to be honest with you, Gene, it felt like about midway through the first quarter, maybe some more so a few minutes into the second quarter, Penn State kind of had a grip on this one and really didn't let West Virginia back in it, even though it was kind of close there for longer than that.
Well, it seemed to me that, and those are valid points. It seems to me, I knew that you come to the game, you're going to be jittery, you're going to be a little bit nervous. The team that settled themselves down first would be the team that will catch their composure and they will do what they need to do. And it seemed like Penn State got on that road a little bit quicker than we did, obviously.
Yep.
The thing that got me that I was really surprised with, that we couldn't run the ball efficiently. I was really surprised with that. The other thing, it's one thing when you can't push the ball down the field, but even the mid-range game, the mid-level game of our passing game didn't seem to click either. So there's a lot of things we have to clean up, man. If we're going to be contenders down the road, it's a long season. One game does not make a season, right? But
Absolutely.
we really didn't look good today at all.
No, and
at all.
To me, if you're going to win these types of games, you can't afford to give things back. Like Penn State gives you that fumble early in the game, the first quarter. The very next play, you give it right back to them on a fumble. And then you have another bad snap, later in the first quarter. You have Drew Aller, I think it was at some point early in the third quarter, you had him stopped on third down twice, or you got him to third down twice, and then he scrambles for a first down both times. That can't happen. West Virginia gets back in the game, sort of, towards the beginning of the fourth quarter. They get the touchdown. They go for two. They don't get it. Even though they don't get it, they still have a chance to get back in the game with a stop. And then all of a sudden, boom, another big play happens. Penn State runs right down the field. They're scoring again. Before I get more into the depths of this, what did you think about the decision to go for two there? Because for me, I think you just kick the field goal and you make it a 14-point game. I mean, it's already a two-score game. If you don't get the two-point conversion, which they didn't, now you have to get an extra a two-point conversion.
Right. No, I would have kicked the extra point. Yeah, I would have kicked the extra point. And it's easier said than done because I'm thinking Neil is thinking something totally different. He's thinking,
Analytics.
let me get these points right. Let me get the points now. But the key to this is look, I have no problem with Neil calling the plays. Let me be clear, right? But here's the thing. When you get inside, I think we were inside the 15 to 12-yard line 4 times, if I'm not mistaken. At least 3 times. And it's 4th and 1, if I'm not mistaken, 4th and 1, and we do the old tush push. You got to be creative with that play. I would not have called that in that situation. If you're going to go in that formation, then have your slot come across the formation and pitch it to him, or have your back on the opposite side and pitch it to him, and have him run, as we call it, to the flag to get 1 yard to get a first down, or maybe break the tackle and get in the end zone. What I'm saying is that was a crucial point where we needed to we should have converted there. You know what I mean? Those things, it comes back to haunt you when you look at the film and say, you know what? Wow. I know why he was mad. He was mad because you're looking at your line and you're saying you can't strain to get 1 yard on 4th and 1.
Yeah.
I get it because I know it. I remember the times with Coach Nealon, listen, 4th and 1, oh, you're going to get 1 yard. I don't care who you're playing against.
Yeah, it's
just saying.
It was interesting decision making for sure. I talked to you at halftime. I thought in a couple of those instances they should have bounced it outside because you're running right into
Absolutely.
the teeth of that defense. Good luck. I mean, even the best running back duo in the country, uh, Penn State's own offense could have probably struggled against that defense running it on 4th and 1 up the middle. Like I just don't see how that was a high percentage play. And I think
Right.
too, the offensive line was a huge disappointment. And I get it's going to take some time. You lost Zach Frazier, you lost Doug Nestor, and the offensive coaching staff has been very pleased with Brandon Yates and Nick Malone throughout the whole preseason. But the reality is, like, you lost two NFL caliber players on that line. It's going to look a little different. And we saw that early on with Yates in a couple of bad snaps. The defensive ends for Penn State were getting to the quarterback. They were forcing pressure for Garrett Green. It just wasn't a smooth operation by any means. And like you said, if you can't run the ball, that's your bread and butter. You can't do anything else. So if they take away your bread and butter, I don't know how you're going to be able to open up anything else downfield. Before we close out here, though, defensively, this has been a unit where we felt like they were going to take a major step, and it's still very possible that they could. It's one game against top 10 team, but they've been talking about tackling all freaking camp long. And today it didn't look like they could tackle at all. I mean, Drew Aller slipped out of a few tackles in the backfield, escaped pressure, got a first down. It didn't look like their eyes were disciplined. It looked like they were
Right.
not fitting the run game. They just looked so confused on the field. How concerned are you with the defense after today?
Well, I wasn't going in, believe it or not. I actually thought that we would play better than what we showed today
Yeah.
defensively. Well, now looking at this, I'm very concerned. And I'll tell you why. Obviously, you have Albany next week, right? Okay. You beat Albany, and then you got to gear up for Pitt. So here's the thing. It gives you the false sense of reality when you go and we'll have a good game plan against Albany, whatever, we'll do well. And then you got to, again, gear up for Pitt. To me, the consistency of fixing these things within a 2 week span, right? Because next week, I'm not, and I hate to say it, I'm not discounting Albany, but it's Albany. Let's stop. Okay, let's be honest. So we should be 1-1 heading into Pitt, playing Pitt. So we have to shore up a lot of things. You have to shore up, like you said, the tackling is one thing. The run fit from the linebackers into the line of scrimmage is another. The defensive secondary, it's an interesting call because nothing was clicking for us today.
No.
Nothing was clicking for Mountaineers today. Let's be clear. But when you look the way you look on defense, it kind of gives you some worries because you got to be able to cover, sideline to sideline, dude. I will say Trotter is
He's a
something
player.
different.
He's
He's
a
a
player.
baller. He's a baller. We have to get pressure on the freaking quarterback, which I was very surprised that we were not able to do that with the lack of depth that I thought Penn State had up front. Their offensive line played very well.
Oh yeah, they
Let
they
me
controlled the both sides of the trenches without a doubt.
well. And that's what I was saying prior to whoever controls the trenches, 9 times out of 10, will control the tempo of this game and ultimately will control the game. And Penn State did that.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, 34-12, your final score in Morgantown. Number 8 Penn State taking the win out of West Virginia or from West Virginia, and the Mountaineers will head into week number 2 looking for win number 1. And as you said, against Albany, they'll be kicking that one off at 6 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Another look here at the road ahead as West Virginia only has Albany coming up, but then they also have the backyard brawl before kicking things off in Big 12 play against Kansas, which is at home. So this is a crucial part of the schedule, Gene. You got to get to 2-1 heading into conference play. If not, things are going to look a little dicey.
Yeah, no, you just said it. We have to get to 2-1 going into conference play. And I don't know how dicey it's going to look if we don't, but hopefully we won't have that conversation.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys for tuning into this episode of the Mountaineer Postgame Show. I'm Schuyler Callihan. That is Eugene Napoleon. Thank you guys for also tuning into our coverage this week, the Walkthrough Game Day Show. We'll be back next week on that, previewing West Virginia Albany next Thursday. Tomorrow, I'll be back with the morning after with some more thoughts on this game after I've had some more time to think about it and kind of go through it all. So make sure to hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel at West Virginia on SI. Make sure to follow us on X at SI_WVU. And that'll do it for us today. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Take care.